today I am presenting some material that will help you either begin to or augment, add to your existing approaches that you have when it comes to providing verbal coaching with your patients or clients. And so this is something that came about somewhat over the years just through people asking me when I teach classes, are you hypnotizing people when you talk to them like that? And that's a big topic, really. Some people would argue that all communication is a form of hypnosis, but let's not go down that rabbit hole today. Let's just say that it's possible, I think, to really bring words, tone of voice into play as we're working, and marry those words and that tone with our touch to produce really deep effects in the nervous system. Where that leads us is to this state of what we would call generically relaxation. We might say something these days like down-regulate of the autonomic nervous system, and some changes also in the somatic nervous system. But we could say generically, in a kind of vernacular way, relaxation. And we know that if we ask our clients to relax, they most commonly, in my practice, people will say, I am relaxed, or I am relaxed. And so we're looking for ways with these verbal interactions with people, this kind of coaching, or it's almost like a guided meditation in a way. We're looking for ways to bring people down into that sort of subterranean or unconscious area where this tightness, these changes, these dysregulations, if you like, of the autonomic nervous system and the sensory motor system as well, where these are taking place. I think it's possible to get to places in terms of the nervous system where the changes that occur when we skillfully engage with people in these ways go to places where we just can't get with touch alone. So these are proposals, and you can, I hope you will, experiment with some of them. It's often easiest to experiment in the kind of privacy of your own clinic. I've noticed there's a kind of reluctance for people to do it in the kind of group setting. We are kind of exposing ourselves a little bit when we start to play around like this, but life is an adventure, so jump in and have a swim. And so I'll be showing it and talking about it, and so let's get started. Thing that I'm going to do is just pay some attention to the awareness of my own body. So this is where the things like the inner work that we've done through meditation and yoga and different breathing practices and movement practices help us create a connection with our own internal well-being, you might say. And so we can defacilitate ourselves in a way that then we become more available to entrain the person that we're working with. And so our own body, mind, spirit is operating in this way that creates feelings of warmth and safety and this kind of invitation to let go. And the way I do that is just to drop into body awareness, and then just have some sense of sort of a broad environmental kind of panorama. So my perceptual field can become quite broad and soft, and that can be done with vision, of course, that we're familiar with So softening our gaze, having inclusive of more peripheral vision, and then also we can even have something like peripheral hearing, so we kind of soften our ears and start to hear the environmental sound that's going on around us. And then bringing that to Odette, who's my model person here that I'm going to be demonstrating some of these ideas with. The very first thing I can do is I can just sort of take up a contact here, as I often do in my practice, and this is just kind of mid-cervical area, giving just a little bit of posterior anterior pressure so that I can feel the vertebra. So the way that I then proceed from there to match that up with some language would be just to invite Odette to receive the sensation of my hands a little more. That I feel like she's just allowed the kind of sensation of my hands to come into her neck a little bit more, and I feel that as softening, and she's starting to experience probably a little bit more the weight of her body. And then I can add to it by just encouraging that. So you might then get that feeling, Odette, that your whole body can feel heavy, and you can let your body receive then the sensation of the table right through. So you're kind of really yielding to gravity, you might say, and so that comes with this often very pleasant sense of being able to find your body weight. So there's the beginning of how we might sort of create a verbal engagement that sort of corresponds, if you like, with our ambition for what we'd like to do as the session progresses, which I think overall is about decompression, uncoiling tension, and feeling like we create an opportunity for people to drop down into experience that they might otherwise not be able to get to. So this is take two. So here, moved away from that preliminary engagement, exploration of how you're finding language and tone of voice and things that will help kind of facilitate Odette just to feel a deeper sense of relaxation. And as I mentioned in the introduction to this whole thing, without, not that the word relax is a heinous word to use, but as I mentioned, I don't think it's that productive always. So here I've just been inviting relaxation without talking about it directly. So I'm going to go a little bit further with that, and now I'm doing something where I'm putting my hands into a position where I am going to start to create some myofascial engagement, put some tension and pressure through the myofascia, but fairly simple. And so I'm just going to slide my hands in next to Odette's spine, and then just invite Odette, even though my hands are a little cold, so it might not be as inviting as it was previously. I'm going to just invite Odette to reconnect with that sense of weight and that feeling of yield, and you could perhaps get a feeling that that just lets down onto my hands. And now I'm putting a line of tension into the tissue, and I'm just dragging here through this area between the scapula and the spine, and I'm just pulling that tissue out to the side. So I've got a grip on it, I'm pulling it out, and then the invitation to Odette is to keep allowing her body to feel, I don't know, easy, floppy, heavy, and not feel like she has to help really in any way other than by exploring her experience of sensation, the temperature of my hands, the pressure, all those things, just allowing those to register in a really sort of simple way. And again, we're wanting the words and the touch to really combine together to create this feeling of decompression and really safety in the body, that the experience, we're not pushing into the person so quickly that it creates more constriction as they try to kind of regulate the sensation of what we're doing. perhaps a very common beginning position. I'm taking my elbow and I'm sinking into the area just below the ilium. And so once again, the landing is part of it. So I'm landing and sinking. I'm not just sort of going straight into the kind of movement part of it. And this time, I could certainly go through some of the same things, just inviting Odette to feel now the sort of underside of her body really letting down into the table, and you might find that in some ways, once we've kind of got the hang of these things, that we can access them quite often more easily. So, so let the weight down, and then I'm just going then to go a little bit further with that, Odette, and you could just feel kind of the inside of your pelvis on the side that's on the table. You can actually feel the inside of the pelvis also let down or open. Yeah, so there's like that. When I feel something, I can't be sure that it's exactly what I suggested, but when I feel that there's a response, I acknowledge it by just going aha, or like that, anything like that. Just kind of like, yeah, we suggested it, they did it, or they engaged with it. So I feel like we need to give some kind of confirmation. It's like, and in my own body, I feel at ease. I don't feel like I'm working too hard. I feel at ease. I feel good in my body. Probably not the best body mechanics, but that's not so relevant here. It's mostly to make it work for the camera. Yeah, so I feel easy. One of the things I really like, and it's something I touch on quite often during the day, is just the feeling of like, the space behind me, the back space. And when I feel that, it just makes my body feel more open and sort of takes me out of that crunchy, maybe flex position that we can end up when we're doing body work. Hi, I need to add a little endnote here because there were some technical difficulties, as we say, and some of the material that was meant to kind of continue on from where we stopped, unfortunately is not usable. So I'm going to close it up at this point, and I'll get back with my model at another time and shoot some reshoot some of that footage that didn't work out and we can't include in the video for now, but I think there's some good things to go on with. If you'd like to see more of my videos, you can, there's some more on this site here, and you can also go to the website, and if you want to subscribe to the whole video package that I have, you can do that via the website. So again, thanks for joining us, and hope to see you again soon.